Hey, what's going on, Patreon guys? Just want to get you a quick video for you guys who are using the Wade Phillips playbook. Just a quick update. I won't spend a lot of time on the whys. I usually like to tell you exactly the reason why things work, but I want to make this part of the quick video series, 5 minutes and out. Just give you guys an update on what you could be doing to help you versus the stretch run game if you're using the Wade Phillips or any 3-4 defense. Okay, so just think about not using under, and I'll explain that maybe in a long form video another time, but let's use over. Okay, over, use any I'm sorry, 8-man box play. My favorite one is always saw blitz one, and versus two backs in the backfield. Okay, let's just go against slot, makes it an easy, nice, easy set. This front allows you to user this linebacker who has the fullback and pretty much run through this gap right here. That's very similar to if you were using the Jim Swartz 4-3 wide. Okay, which all you need to do is just use your control pad, use your directional pad, and press to the right, and then use your right stick, and then I'm sorry, your left stick, and press up. So you just want to spread the linebackers. Okay, that really what that does is kind of make sure that this guy is wide. He's in that wide 9 technique. Okay, and then take this linebacker. All right, pretty much you're going to end up having to take on most of the time the fullback. So just try to keep the fullback inside. Basically, keep your outside arm and leg free, as we say in football. Okay, and to make this ball cut back. Now there'll be times like that where you come scot clean. All right. There are times where you won't. So it's not 100%, but do that. Also, you can also use your contains as well, because you see the angles that we have here. If I took this player and put him back into a blitz, you see how his angle is a lot tighter, right? Look at this. You see it contain, not contain, right? He's going to basically in the Madden world get suctioned even easier. For some reason, I feel like the contains are really good. And what I like to do is contain usually to the tight end side. I don't always like to contain every play, but this is good versus boot, right-handed quarterbacks, and also versus outside runs. I don't know if maybe it's placebo effect, but that's what I do. Okay. So again, we're just looking to run through this gap. And sometimes the fullback will block you, but if you just make sure that the ball cuts back, you're in good shape. Okay. If the run goes weak, okay. So if the run goes weak to the weak side, you're going to be unblocked. Just don't overrun the running back in case he puts his foot down, but you're going to be unblocked. So he's either going to have to like string it out, string it out, string it out. The only thing that can be really tough is maybe he will just sprint to the sideline. Then you're going to have to be on your horse to get over there. But sometimes the ball doesn't get, what do you call it? The ball doesn't get that wide when it goes weak. All right. So that's the two back running game. Anytime there's two backs in the backfield, I will look into doing that just to give you something quickly. If you ever got two tight ends, so the next problem is always when you get two tight ends on the same side and they're running stretch. So basically, what happens is the fullback has become a tight end and he's already declared himself on the line of scrimmage. So what happens is, as we say in football, there's an extra gap that's created. So when that happens, you're going to have to play a little different. And the adjustment that I have right now, which works pretty well, is user the linebacker that's covering the running back. All right. Use your directional pad to the right, press to the right. All right. Use your left stick and press it to the right. And what that does is gets the linebackers to move over in this fashion. Okay. And what this gives you is basically what we call an over solid. So you get a 3, you get not a 5, but you get a 6-eye technique, which is no different than a C technique. It's somebody in the C gap, and you get a 9. Okay. So what happens is this side of the field, usually, it's hard for them to run this way. People can still bounce it. But if one little tip I would do is just take this linebacker and just stand over here, like in your gap, right? So if the ball's run, this is like your gap technically, okay? So that's where you're supposed to be. This will allow you to go left and right, not sure which way it's going to go. But if you stand in your gap and don't be in a hurry to go get this football, like let it play out, all right? And a lot of times you're going to be able to shoot through this gap and come clean. Again, I'll explain the blocking stuff in a long form video, but I just want to give you guys something right now. So if you got a game tonight and you're playing a 3-4, you're playing the Wade Phillips scheme, this is going to help you just stop some of these runs that are really annoying. Like it's not 100%, right? Even though the outside safety there is actually free, which is really annoying because he actually is free. The problem is because we're in cover one, he doesn't play it right. He basically follows the wing. So that's a little bit annoying. Okay. Now, solution could be if you really want to get this to be even different, it's gonna be a little bit bastardized, but if you call cover three sky, okay, and then you go with the corners over technique, so the corner stays over there, right? And you make all the adjustments we kind of talked about before, where this could be a Mabel for you. You could turn them into a hard flat, right? If you want to keep three guys over there, or you could just man up the slot. But what I'm talking about here with the front system, you get this same front system here. It's a little bit funky because of his alignment. He's not blitzing. But this player here, this safety, being when he's in a curl flat, I think it's a little bit better. Let me go with the contains. He plays it a little bit smarter when he's a zone player. He doesn't just run outside. He kind of plays it smarter. So it's either going to be you or him, having to take on a block. And if it's you, he's going to be a lot better. Okay, so let me just do that again. You can go cover three. Again, you would be a man of line already, so that corner would have stayed over there right from the start. I'm just going to man him up. Hold on, let me go back on this. Cover three, man of line. Okay, take the linebackers. I keep moving the D line. Sorry about this, guys. I guess I don't have that much experience with this 100% yet, but I wanted to get this to you right away. Let's start over. Let's just call cover three. Let's just get ourselves in man of line. All right, man of line. Okay, let's just call cover three sky. Let's go against stretch. Have a bunch of practice plays there. So it's already set up. I'm not going to do anything here. You know what to do, right? You know how to play bubbles. Man this guy up, right? You can press him and everything if you want. So let's take the linebackers now and shift the linebackers over. Get yourself in the A gap, all right? And when this ball's run, if you're slow, if you get blocked, it's okay because that safety should be there. Watch this one. So I did get kind of blocked by the guard there, but the safety is pretty much free, right? So right now, if everybody just stays in their gap leverage, it's free. All he could do is cut back in, and you'd hope that a good safety would just play that better. Again, this is something that I kind of just figured out recently. I don't have too many games with this stuff on film yet. I tried to jump into some random games, and the guys I was playing in random mode just wouldn't run stretch today. I don't know why. So that didn't work. Okay, but that's one thing. Now, if you go up against a team that has two tight ends on opposite sides, okay, you'll be in good shape. I don't have one here. Jeez, that's my fault. Okay, so opposite sides. Let me just motion a guy over, cover one over. It's actually fine because opposite sides. So let's say it came out with two tight ends and they were split. So the tight ends are split, right? We go at our same thing. We spread everybody. We use this player. Just running through this gap is no different than if it was one back. If it was two backs in the backfield, it's just that there's no fullback. So now you're definitely going to come clean through the gap. Okay, so just understand that. And then if it goes weak, if the run was to go weak, all right, run goes weak, we should just be able to scrape across and you won't be blocked because the guard's the guy that's going to try to block you, but you can scrape across that. Now, he could put his foot in the ground and try to cut up straight, but most people who run stretch just try to get to the sideline. Let's be honest. They're not really good stretch runners. They're just trying to take advantage of the game. Okay. So you can stay in the over front versus the three combinations, two backs in the backfield. If it's a wing set, two tight ends on the same side, you just have to make the adjustment by picking your linebackers over to that side. And if the tight ends are split, you're fine. Same thing as two backs in the backfield. Okay. Now the last thing, just real quick, a little bonus. I know I'm way over 5 minutes here. Apologize, but you can use Bear as well. Bear really kind of cleans this play up nice because you can kind of see that there's nobody in this gap right here. And the other thing, that is my fault. My fault. So I'm glad I made this mistake. All right. I'm gonna probably edit that part. I'm gonna say I said a whole lot, but let me go back and change this. Press. Okay. You can back your corners off late if you want, but press gets this guy up. That's who you need to be your edge guy. That's gonna allow you as a user now to pretty much run through the gap. Okay, and make the play. That's what I'm missing. All right. So if you leave him back there and he's sitting back and he's not in a press position, it just gets really soft. And you end up having to take a guy on and you have to trust the computer to make the block, I mean, make the tackle. But if you can press that guy, I think you can manually press this one guy. Yep. Press him, spread again. All right. And just work downhill. You should be in good shape. All right. So I wanted to give guys from that standpoint what you can do. If you also get last thing, real bonus tip, if you do want to use nickel or I do have in there big nickel, you can work with this. But just remember the same thing I just said. Like if you want to use nickel and put a safety in at the nickel, call cover one or whatever. So now if you're doing this against two backs in the backfield, it's the same thing. You got to press. All right. Get only one of those guys come up, but you got to get this guy in the line of scrimmage. If he's standing back there, the whole play can get screwed up. All right. And this is not exactly like the wide nine, but it's the same idea. I really don't like the backside of this right here. This gap is way too big. So I probably would have to like cheat over here. So this defense in general, though, I picked the wrong play. Sorry. This defense in general is pretty good versus any type of outside zone plays. People know it. Running nickel is kind of like people's scheme. And that's the reason why I think in modern day football, a lot of people do it. But pretty much, what are you getting? You're getting the over type of front. Okay. And that's the same thing that we're getting now at a base personnel. It kind of took me a while to realize that, but you're getting this overlook, right? Now, this is not as great. These linebackers don't spread out as much. But as long as you have here, the difference is you have two players that are outside in nickel. So now you have more numbers, okay? So you might have to take on a blocker or two from here. You're not going to come free. But the good thing is that you have just more players over there, all right? Now, like I had said, I don't like this really versus weak side runs, but really I would consider using nickel, either nickel 2-4 or even big nickel versus two tight end sets. So if a team came out in that original set, let's go ace pair, may change it up a little bit. You can go cover one or cover three, doesn't really matter too much here. Right. I think cover three is actually a little bit better because you get the safeties are split, but it doesn't matter here. Again, I would press and I would probably back off my corners if they're not very good, but I want that guy to be on the line of scrimmage so we can play ball like that. And again, I probably would sit over here backside B gap like I do in other things and kind of make sure if the ball comes this way, I can help out. But to the front side, it should be pretty good. And if you can see there, the safety did not bite. That's probably that's part of the problem. Somebody has to attack on that side. And I guarantee you this guy did not attack. All right. So let me just get on this side over here and I'll be the attacker. Like somebody needs to attack. You can't have the safety and that linebacker just like sitting there. If you let the computer do it, these two guys here would just sit there and watch the play happen. Like one of them has to come up. And if you're going to use her, it's going to be probably this guy. I see how I forced the issue and then allowed the other guy to become free. All right. So just want to give you this little update for the Wade Phillips plan. Thanks for sticking with me with this stuff. I know a lot of you guys have downloaded this plan, so hopefully this can help you guys and really get you guys a little bit more sure up on the run. All right. Talk to y'all later, man. Peace.